Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to the first episode of the Promptpreneurs podcast. I'm your host, Evan, and I'm here joined by my partner,
Hey,
James.
what up? Hey, what up? This is James. Welcome to Promptpreneurs. Got it the first time.
Yeah, it's definitely a tongue twister, but let me tell you, this whole AI tech boom that's going on has been a brain twister, tongue twister. It's been so many things going so fast, so much technology coming out of nowhere, and it really gave us the opportunity to be creative. This is really just a continuation of the conversations that me and James were having about what we were doing in our spare time, from using ChatGPT, from building apps, and to just talking tech.
Yeah, I think that the conversations we had definitely helped both of us out. And it's like, I thought about this the other day, right? You have your business executives, you have your CEOs, and versus the little guy, the regular guy that goes to work 24/7. And I think AI is it shortens the gap between both of those. So your CEO has all these people working for him, and the regular guy has nobody working for him because he's spending all his time working for the CEO. So now, for the regular guy, the regular guy is now a CEO because the AI is all of his workers now.
Exactly, exactly. So look, that's exactly what we're here to talk about. Don't give away no more gems. That's something we definitely gonna get into with these episodes. So from the beginning, this podcast that we're creating is for the dreamers, building the future with AI, the ones who see opportunity in every prompt, who tinker late into the night, who dare to launch before they're ready. This is for you. Keep building, keep prompting. The future is already yours.
So it's for me. Okay. That's I felt that one. That the future's for
Listen, man,
me.
look, the time is now. This is a techno boom right now. I mean, we saw it with the iron, even going back further, the Bronze Age, right? The Iron Age, right? Then we saw it with, first with computers, right? Then Microsoft, right? And then we're seeing a real evolution of how all this has come to what should be the moment everybody was waiting for. I mean, the moment where you can grab a computer, grab a phone, type in what you want, and get what you want to do what you want.
It's gonna sound crazy, but I don't want no one to feel some type of way about me saying this. Is you have to be ready already. Like
Exactly.
you have to be ready already, and this is for the dreamers because the dreamers are already ready. They have everything set up. They have everything built already in their mind, and they're waiting for an opportunity. And these things are the opportunity. When AI comes out, when Replit, when ChatGPT comes out, these are the things that you were waiting for. Is it's up to you now to use them to the full capability of what it should be used to. Um, there will be more things coming out,
Yeah.
and you just have to be ready. And being ready is having it already written down, having it in your mind, and just being ready for success. That
Listen, I hate to sound cliche, but knowing is half the battle. Shout out to GI Joe. It really is half the battle. All right, so let's get into some backgrounds a little bit, and then transition to what we're currently doing, and how some of this tech sort of has helped us. Now, we don't get into too much details. We're going to get into details later. So just talk about some of your journey in tech. Like, how did you even go from understanding that what the capabilities of Chat GPT to combining that with another system in AI to using that to feel your passion.
well, I really have like limited. I mean, if this show was a TV show. You would be the smart guy. I would be the regular guy. And I really have no background in tech. I learned, I think, code in middle school. Like, I think that was a elective class, and that was, I liked it, but it was just like I don't remember it. Um, in college, I did Final Cut Pro. That's not really tech now, but that was like, to me, that was tech. Um, Other than that, I know nothing. Um, I'm I'm looking forward to everything that's coming out, but I feel as though it's almost like a artist getting a new color that never existed. So that's how I feel right now.
Yeah,
But
it's a new toy. It's definitely a new toy that you can take around with. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, we don't have any, Silicon Valley training or no computer science degrees. We both come from a non-technical background, meaning, it's not AI marketing. It's not, like I said, computer science. This is pretty much both of our first encounter with AI, and it was almost accidental. I mean, when you had texted me something, and then you told me what you were doing, and I was kind of like thrown back, like, damn, that's crazy because I'm doing the same thing. I was like, yo, but just doing it on my own, trying to figure it out, like, learn about it as I go, you know, and it's good to connect.
like ChatGPT was an accident. Like I never used it. I was at a warehouse, and ex associate of mine was like, because I have the clothing line, Cotton Cartel Clothing, KOTTON KARTEL clothing, obviously. And he was like, why don't you use ChatGPT to help you? I mean, with your media and advertisement and marketing. I don't know what ChatGPT is. It's a young kid. He's I think 19, going on 20. He was like, look, opens it up, and he's showing me stuff, and he's like, look, and it's everything's. I'm like, what the hell am I missing? And that was my first introduction in ChatGPT. And then the funny thing is, from there, boom, Replit. I'm going into like a deep circle, a deep dive, and I'm bumping into all these things. Cause like I said before, you're the regular guy working underneath your CEO. You're substituting your hours for
Yeah.
money, so you don't have the time. You're doing 40 hours, 50 hours. Some people out there doing 60 to 70 hours of work. They don't understand this. But like I said, luckily I bumped into this kid, and this kid is showing me all this stuff, and I'm like, yo, this is what I've been waiting for my whole entire life. And I'm so glad it's happening now, because it's giving me a boost, and a reassurance, and my dream is still attainable.
This is a moment I waited all my
Right?
we're waiting all our life for this, right? Yeah, so that's dope. I mean, pretty much the same way with me. I've always been trying to work social medias for some sort of, content, right? And then understand the laborious process it is to go from script on paper to, you know, rehearsing it to editing stuff to then once you got it edited, you got to create the Facebook stuff, then the Instagram stuff, then the TikTok stuff, then there's all this stuff is different formats. And so just really just used it to cut my work in half, right? Like I started using it to rewrite sentences. I started using it to, like, put together like plans and outlines and make PowerPoints. And then I started using it to do more of my personal business, right? Like, hey, write this or add this or create something around this. And it just started growing and growing. It went from something that I use once a month to something that I was pretty much using 3 or 4 times a day. And so that's where we at now, right? So yeah, that's dope. So this is all content building. I mean, we're using this Promptpreneur podcast to raise awareness about ChatGPT and specifically app building using Replit. And so, but before we go into all that details, for those who might not know, we have to start at the beginning, right? Because this is a new frontier, and I know a lot of people are getting into it a little bit, but not really. So let's just start at the beginning, and talk about tech. Let's talk about what some of these platforms are, right? And then after we do that, we'll talk about how we use them, right? So break down from your definition, from what you think ChatGPT is. Break down what you think the ChatGPT is.
From a regular person perspective, remember he's a smart guy. I'm the regular guy. It answers all your questions in the best way it possibly can. But ChatGPT to me is a AI tool that uses all the information it gathers from the internet, factual information, to answer your questions, to help you succeed in, let's say, marketing or anything of that sort. But it's more of an informational tool. It's an AI informational tool that responds to you as quickly as possible with the most factual information that is created online through people that are telling facts. That's what I see it as.
Okay. And what do you use ChatGPT for mostly in the last week?
Um, I use ChatGPT to help me do pitches to big companies for a song I had called Mama's Boy that's going viral on TikTok. And I just want to pitch it so it could be used, um, commercials. So it sends, it helps me build like pitch campaigns for these companies, and it packages up for me to be able to send to them through emails, almost like cold calling. uh, I've also used it to help write code, um, through Python code. If you guys are coders, you know what that is. Um, because I'm not a coder, so it helps me write code uh, to help build applications, and also it helped me realize through the applications that I do have, if anyone else out there is in the same field as me, and the difference between mine and theirs. And lastly, I've been looking at meme coins because I do a little trading, a little stock, and help me realize if these coins are fake or if they're not, and the potential growth and what I would get back if I put in a certain amount. So if you're not good at math, like I'm not good at math, ChatGPT helps you out with that.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, and that's and there's a lot of things you said on there that I don't know about. So I'm looking to learn more about that when we get into it. So pretty much the same thing for me. I've been using ChatGPT to come up with code. They call it vibe coding. So what I've been doing with the vibe coding is been taking these codes and then putting it into the platform Replit, right? And that's what we came in to talk about Replit. We came in to talk about how we use Replit to make an app, or how to it pretty much create something that we want to work on in an app space and launch it in the app store, right? So let's get back into tech. So first off, what is tech, right? Tech is pretty much technology in simple terms, right? It's tools, machines, software, and systems that solve problems to make tasks easier, right? And so this tech goes into apps, AI, cloud service, automation. These would be the supercomputers. Now, a lot of the tech companies or tech businesses usually get funding and through what they call a startup, right? So you become a startup, and then you pitch to get money from venture capitalists. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4 step. You come with the idea, you use ChatGPT, you build a business, you build a brand, then you have a startup, then you raise capital through the venture capitalists, and then you make $1 million, retire, right? That's the goal.
Yes.
That's the
Well, no,
goal.
the funny thing is, that's your goal. As me, as a person, as a dreamer, and that as a creator, my goal is to build something, and then if it makes me that type of money, I want to use that money to build more, more, more. If anybody is listening, read a book called One Simple Idea by Stephen Key, and that kind of got me into that space because even when I'm happy, I'm creating. My mind is creating. When I'm sad, my mind is creating. I don't think that would ever stop. So once again, I would just use that money to just build more stuff. And I think that's how I would stay in my happy space and be comfortable with life. But yeah, definitely you want to succeed that way by your financial goals and everything else.
All right. Now, so going to the startups, I think that's great transition. You brought up that book. You did recommend me that to me a while ago, and I did do my research on it, and I've read most of that book. And yeah, I mean, you're right. It is a great thing to think about because it helps you focus on a niche, right? And so you don't want to be a master of none, right? You want to be a master of one. And so you pick something to start with, and you stay with that until it's done, right? And so pretty much focus on solving one big problem, right? With this innovation and this tech and these startups and these apps. And if you do that, you can see it through and then start something else, right? An example I use is the Super Pumped movie. We were talking about that, which is the story of Uber. I mean, that gets me pumped. I mean, that gives me a lot of hope about working in with apps and building stuff because I mean they did it. They created something. There was a problem. They fixed it. They went through all the red tape, and then they came out of it a unicorn. And that's another term that you got to get used to as far as what is a unicorn. But it has to do with the scalability from being able to go from a small group of users to thousands or millions, right? And so let's talk about the business, right? Real quick. Um, what is the business, right? And what business do they do? Tech app business, they make mobile apps. Like I said, Uber. And then there's web apps. So a web app that a lot of people use is Canva, if I'm saying that right, Canva. Another thing might be Notion, and I've been telling you a lot about Notion.
Yeah,
Trello, things like Trello. And then there's other programs called hybrid SaaS apps like Slack, Zoom, or Dropbox,
I
right?
actually use Slack right now for the company I work for. They just put me onto it.
Okay. And so those type of businesses usually have subscriptions, they have ads or transaction fees, right? And so then we can go into the next conversation, which is AI tools, right? And so the example that we would use would be like the ChatGPT and Replit, right? And so the AI tools being a ChatGPT. So the technical direct definition of ChatGPT is an AI assistant that can write, brainstorm, or automate tasks. ChatGPT is really all about automation, right? And so um, it helps you from having to not have to hire a lawyer or not having to, well, I guess I shouldn't technically say not have to hire a lawyer because it's not a lawyer, but outline the steps and process and procedure for around hiring a lawyer, right? I think that's one of the big things. Like if you have a situation, you can pretty much automate that information, and then you can also set up systems that create itself, right? So that's what a lot of people have been using it for social media. They'll have the chat GPT set up so that they can create images, create captions, and then automatically post, and then it automatically do something with the comments, and then it automatically create this content at some sort of frequency and basis so they don't even have to do anything, right? And they're generating followers, views, and they're also generating revenue. Now, Replit is probably a term that is not new to us and is not new to the Silicon Valley crowd. Is not new to a lot of people in the tech space. But a lot of people, I would say, the majority of the world is not onto Replit. It is a platform where anyone can quickly build and test apps and codes in the cloud, right? And so I define Replit as a front end display. And so you take your text and say, hey, I want to create an app that, uh, you know, monitors temperatures on a certain street in a certain city, based on, the average rainfall. It can get real specific and detailed, and it will be able to do that task and create a interface. You'll have, create all the metrics that you inputted, and it will link them to sites, to other chat GPT systems. It will you know, connect with text services. It'll do email generations. It'll everything that has to do with funneling or creating a whole business where you would need, like you said earlier, a whole staff working 60 hours.
Yep.
But it's one of those things that you have to work at, right? Like you just, when you open ChatGPT, it's just a box, right? It just says what do you enter what you want, and you have to be specific to pretty much get the desired outcome that you want for what you're trying to do.
It's one of those things where it's like I said before, you have to have everything set up in your mind first, because you still will have to think about it. Like ChatGPT, obviously, is set up sometimes for the user to basically like just put in whatever so they can make their money. If you're just in there just doing stuff, whereas for the people that have everything already set up in their mind, you know what to ask it, you know what to do. I mean, you plan it out. For somebody like you that's worked at various companies, various high-end companies, like it'll be easier for you to use than it would be for a regular person, because you already have everything set up in your mind, like how you want it to go. And I had to learn that the hard way.
But that's, that's just called project management. You get what I'm saying? And I it's the same thing. It's something you work at, like before we had computers and all this tech stuff. I mean, we had a pencil and paper, right? So I think that's a lot of it comes from just being an old school person in a new school world. And so I took the Google project management class, right? I mean, I just did it, right? I used Coursera. I signed up. I think it was $36 a month. I finished it in like 2 months, and I just went through it. And my goal is to keep even building on that. I mean, one day to get a PMP, but it's the same thing. ChatGPT, I mean, you don't really even need to. You can just go on ChatGPT and say, outline a project, outline, a set of parameters as like a project manager with a Google certificate that has been working for 15 years. Like you can be that specific with these prompts, and it will pretty much create it.
Nah, you're right. It it was just I like to get ahead of myself, and I was in a rush because, like I said, it's new, and it was like, oh my god, this I could do what I needed to do on this. I got ahead of myself, so I definitely needed to step back and be like, all right, let me manage it better. Let me manage what I'm doing better. Let me manage my plans better, and let me make the plans.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm at right now.
Yeah. So with the prompts, I'm trying to be as specific as I can with the prompts for examples, but I mean it's more of a series of steps as well. So, to any brand, to any company or business, or even just any type of project, you want to identify, what is the problem, right? And then you want to look for tech or add on GPT or another AI service that might be specifically for that to make it easier. So what I mean for by that, I mean there's other things inside of ChatGPT. There's like you can have little apps like there that connect. So Canva connects, so you can pretty much have ChatGPT create something in Canva for album cover, YouTube cover, book cover, whatever, and it will go to that GPT inside of ChatGPT and create it. There's a marketing section in ChatGPT. I think it's marketing 4.0. There's a presentation section, presentation 4.0, and then there's video AI 4.0, which is done by InVideo. And then there's also diagrams, project management. So there's apps within apps there that help, make all this easier for everybody for whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what's needed. So I gotta be more. Like I said, I'm speaking for the regular guys out there. I have to be more more manageable with my time, with my plans. But definitely what he said.
Yeah, so uh and so yeah, so that, like I said, there's steps to all this, and it's just about following the steps to get to the top, right? And that's why we're here. So of course, again, I want to thank you guys for joining, and let's get into some of these apps that we're talking about specifically that we use. So um, we talked about Replit. We talked about ChatGPT. And I guess Replit really is the main one. Replit is a subscription based, and we're just going to sort of introduce it, but we're going to have more episodes later where we actually open the page and show you guys what we're working on, so you guys can see just how it works in real time. But these things that they have really help. And yeah, you want to use the additional services, but it's like, how do you know what to use, especially when it's coming out so fast? Like, I didn't know last week that you can connect different systems to ChatGPT, right? But I started watching more YouTube videos. So I'm spending a lot of time in Replit. And so I sent you a few links, and I spent time on the Replit YouTube page, and I listened to their features. I started spending more time on the YouTube page for ChatGPT, talking about their features and their new updates, because they went from, I believe, 4.0 to the 5.0. And so it helps to keep up. And I'm like, wow, watching this example for someone that works for these companies, explaining the best way to use it. And it works a lot of ways. And you start to see how all these companies are connected, because I've been trying to go through these steps to get to the end of finished building what I'm working on. And I got to the point where I'm running ads. I got to the point where I'm writing Facebook posts, and I'm using boosts. And then I get a call from Google, and I texted you this yesterday, but I didn't get into the details of it. But I get a call from Google, and it's Google Marketing. And they're like, "Hey, we seen your market post. I'm a Google person. I help with maximizing Google ads." And this is a free service. And this is something that I've done before with other websites and companies. And pretty much the way the call goes is that they go into your, well, they don't go into, like, you share your screen, and then they set up the Google ads, because you're spending money, right? And so you can set your own limit with the Google ads, and your return is pretty much correlation to how much you spend on an ad, right? So if I spend, you can spend a minimum of $2, but if you spend five, right, you know that if you have it set up the right way as a funnel, you can get a return on it. You can make $15 back, right? And so the more you put in your ads, the more you'll get back. But you got to set it up for a certain way, and that's where ChatGPT comes in. So if I'm running an ad and I know how to use Google AdSense, I'm going to say, hey, create an advertisement for Google AdSense that gives me an ROI of 10% of my marketing budget for my product, that also increases my um, my reach, my followers, and my subscribers, if it's or sales, whatever it is. And then copy and paste the ad, and then ChatGPT will come back with the whole thing. And so it's really made a big difference in, for me, for finishing things, right? Because back in the days, we were around before computers. We used to have to go to, literally go to the library, grab a card, then search around the library to find a book, right?
Damn.
Right? We don't got to do that no more. We don't have to do that no more.
I listen. I wasn't even searching for books, but I don't want to. That's something I don't want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I just use that for example, because before AI, building a startup felt like climbing a mountain. You get what I'm saying? Or just building a business. You had to go somewhere to talk to somebody who knew something, right? It wasn't like this information wasn't openly available. So that's kind of what this is. Like, this is a space to sort of, especially this first episode, get people familiar with some of these terms. Take the information back and do some follow-ups on their own, and then come back when we get into some of the deeper conversations, specifically in the examples, and showing you what we did, so you guys can see how it's done, and you guys can do it too. And you guys can be a part of our community that we're building on here, right? And so I mean, these things move fast. I mean, you can do this stuff in a matter of weeks, right? So you can set aside, 1 week. But I wanna emphasize that all these things are still hard work, because without having no background in some of this tech stuff, you'll get to some of these, even though it's automated and it's self prompts. Sometimes you still got to know how to connect these dots, right? And sometimes they're a little hard to connect.
No, they're definitely hard to connect. I be trying my best, and I, like I said, I for the regular person, I know it's hard to connect. That's me.
Yeah, using the Replit, I built a couple of apps, and one I just couldn't get to connect. I mean, it was laying out what I needed to do. It was saying it was doing it, but I just wasn't seeing it on the front end. And so, this is when some of the tech came in, and even though I kept adding some of the prompts to it or making the changes, it kept saying that it was changed, but it wasn't working. And so, it sometimes it sends you to websites that you got to sign up, and then you got to have API keys. And then from those API keys, you got to bring them back into your Replit menu. And so there's a little back and forth that you have to do. So even though these things say AI and you know they say automated, there still is a heavy manpower with all these things.
Asking the right questions,
Exactly.
adjusting the right paths to go into.
Yes. Exactly. I mean, asking the right questions is important, and so that's why we came up with the Promptpreneurs, to sort of explain how you guys can change some of your prompts, right? And how you can set things up for whatever stage you're at. So let's talk about the steps that you went to. Let's start with the basic step, right? The basic one, idea, right? So let's talk about some of your ideas and how you came up with the idea before you even take it to Chat GPT.
Okay, well, this is what we'll do, right? And I tell people all this. This is the secret sauce. You're only gonna hear it here. And I'll tell you the one idea I came up with that I messed up on, and I messed up $333 million at. Like I missed out on.
Ooh, listen, that's a hard loss to take, man.
It was you're gonna know it when I as I'm speaking about it. But it was called. It's in 2011, 2012. I emailed it to myself. So if you don't believe me, there's proof. It was called Catch Text. You catch the text before it disappears. I know it sounds like Snapchat, and basically that's what it was. Um, the thing about Snapchat when it came out, I think it only had like just messages or just pictures disappearing. I had messages, pictures, videos disappearing at your command. You put the timer on what you want the person to have to look at whatever you're sending to them. Um, and how I came up with that idea was someone showed me Instagram, one of my associates, and it's like, "Oh, it's the new thing." And then I double tapped and I liked it because he showed me that's how you're supposed to do it. He's like, don't do that, don't do that, do that. I got a girl, and she gonna think I'm cheating on her or whatever like that. And he's like, bro, I don't want her to get mad at me. I'm like, what? So sitting down, uh, the first thing that came with me, I didn't want him to get in trouble. I was like, have something where it just makes everything disappear right afterwards. I mean, so you always figure out a problem and you solve it. Now,
Start with the problem. Yep.
if someone else has solved the problem, yeah, I mean, cool. Maybe you could solve it better. So don't always give up. But that is how you come up with the idea. Now, if you feel as though there are no problems ever in life, it's hard to come up with any ideas. So let's say, for instance, rich people or people with lots of money, oligarchs, rich people, super rich people, how they make their money is they just to solve the problem is they just pay a person that already solved the problem. So they're solving another problem.
Mhm.
So
And yeah. And just to add to that, I mean, you always hear people say sometimes, or in movies or in TV, they go, "Oh, you're such a smart person," and that person goes, "No, I just hire people smarter than me."
hence, hence what I said in the beginning of the show is for the regular working man that 60, 70 hours, maybe 4 hours a week that don't have the time,
Hmm.
ChatGPT, Replit, these are all of your workers now.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier for you to go out there now. You could type it in ChatGPT right now. Find an issue that I could solve
Yeah.
and then narrow it down to certain fields. But back to the topic at hand, that's how I came up with catch text. The only difference is I didn't have the 20K that the coder wanted me to have to build it, and they didn't have. And I was working through a middleman um, named Nelson Stryker. He has a podcast now too, and he wouldn't let me speak to the coder at all. So I'm like, yo, if the coder believes in me, which I know he's going to believe in this idea, I'm like, yo, he'll do it for free, and I'll split it 33% straight down the line, even with the middleman that's not doing anything but introducing me to the coder, because I knew it was that good. I knew it was that good. I'm gonna say it again. I knew it was that good.
Yeah,
That was my
you can't give the plug up, right? He was guarding the plug, huh?
no. Yeah, it's guard and plug, but like when people guard the plug, it's more. It was to him is more about the money. He wanted to make money off the situation. The 20K wasn't going straight to the
Yeah,
coder at all. So
yeah.
it was going to go to either him or it was going to get divvy up between him and the coder. And I knew that it was just more so I didn't have the finances at that point in time. So, and I still made this post like after Snapchat came out and it opened up first day in stock at $333 million. Like I'm like, they split $111 million each as owners.
But you know, I mean, I think that's a great story, man, and you definitely had a great idea. And I told you before, I still think you should put that idea out there, man. I still think that you should put it out there just for reference. I mean, because it is part of your story, you know, and have it out there because you never know. I mean, apps change hands or popularity changes hands a lot, you know, and who knows, people get out competed. I mean, there's just look at the bread aisle, right? You've got all these bread in the bread aisle. They still on the shelf making money. You got Uber, you got Lyft, you know, you got Amazon, you got Prime. Well, I guess Amazon's Prime, but you got other delivery services now that you wouldn't even, you know, think would even rival Amazon. I'm not sure if Temu is rivaling Amazon, but listen, Temu is everywhere. Sheen now. I mean, there's Wayfair. There's like 4 or 5 of me. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely believe that you should you should still put that out there.
And I'm glad you brought that up. And not to veer off topic, but this also goes to those people like we have the one person like Jeff Bezos who has the one idea that he has the one idea of Amazon and
Mhm.
it evolves. And then you have someone else like the guy from the guy Stephen Key for one simple idea. He has multiple ideas. I
Mhm.
want people to have multiple ideas. So it's like not that I'm gonna look into what you're talking about. Maybe I do want to reinvent that catch text, but I knew me and I knew I would come up with something bigger and better. I knew I would keep going. So that's what
Mhm.
I did. And luckily and with that let's combine that story or get to the point is luckily Replit and all these things exist now, so I don't have the problem of a Nelson Striker, and it's not downplaying. I'm just using him as reference from the story. It's not downplaying, but it's just like I don't have the problem of a middleman no more. I can go straight to the source, which is Replit. They could build that for me already, and I just have to ask them for the right prompts, the right, you know what I mean, the right push it in the right direction. So I'm not paying the 20K, the 80K, or just like I said, having to deal with a middleman or a coder that doesn't want to do it at all. So if I had this when the catch text came up as an idea in my head and the way I wrote it down, who knows? Who knows? Will we be here? But we're here now. That's all that matters. Promptpreneur.
That's it. But we're here to raise information. We're here to change that. You know, we're definitely here to change that. So it should go like you said. It should go the problem, then you come up with the solution, and then you come up with getting the traction for it, right? As far as the marketing, the buzz, as they say, then you have to do the pitch, and then you have to come up with the ask, and then I believe when it comes to the ask, it should also be Kickstarter, you know, or Indiegogo or something like that, and then it also has to be, you know, what they call boots on the ground, right? Like you have to, mostly in that traction phase, right? You have to pretty much already have that out there in a soft launch and it actually working before you bring it to people if you're serious, right? Also, my suggestion to you was to start watching a lot of Shark Tank, right? I mean, and I'm not talking about just 1 or 2 episodes. You know, you need to watch Shark Tank until you become one of the sharks, right? Till you know all the, you know, before the sharks even speak what type of deal you would offer or what type of deal you would take based on what the product is. You know, that's the type of um how deep you have to go into it if you're going to do something like that. You just pretty much have to be all in. And I wanted to also share some insight and some words of motivation, not just to you, but to anybody listening. And this is also for myself because I definitely understand, seen a lot of hard workers. You know, I believe myself to be a hard worker, but you have to tell yourself constantly that you're not working hard enough. You have to push yourself beyond those limits. You have to almost get into a 24/7 obsessive state where all you're thinking about is what the task you're working on so you can push it to the max. Right? I mean, you talk about 60-hour days, you got to put in damn near 20 hours just in one day. You get what I'm saying? If you're going to do this entrepreneur thing, especially tech startup and launch an app, because it's rewrite, it's well now using the Replit to add the idea to code and to keep going, right? And so, uh, it's definitely an exciting journey, and it definitely is something that I think everybody should do or look into because, like you say, you never know. You won't be here now, right? You won't be wherever you at right now if you can get it right.
No, and that's exactly like for me. I have like 3 ideas, 4 ideas that's running at once. I have the money idea, which is just like it's getting me the money to put towards my next app. So, like I said, I don't have to worry about the middleman, and I could use Replit just to build the basis of where I want to be in the application, and then bring it to another person and be like, yo, this is exactly how I want it to be. Um, Obviously, me and you will have more conversations about bridging the gap between all the applications, marketing. Um, I also want to just make it aware that sometimes it's good to work as a team, and you can do it by yourself, but you could do it faster and easier with a team. Uh, and I know a lot of people be like, "This is my idea." Sometimes you need to share the idea. Sometimes you need to be co-CEOs. Sometimes you need to be co-partners, because the reason why I bring up the book so much, and I'm not getting paid for this. One simple idea by Stephen Key is um, sometimes you can get to your biggest idea faster if you build on a small idea. It works. The finances come. You don't have to worry about gathering the finances for the next one, or you get a partner or let's say Y Combinator. We spoke about that. We'll speak about that later, or any Kickstarter, whatever like that. And with the small idea, you already making friendships with the Kickstarter. You already learned how to do the Kickstarter through your partner, putting that on the plate already, and you learn how to work through it and learn how to go through it fast, and it could just get done. I think me and you were just talking about sam.gov and getting grants and getting loans from the government. As I'm working on that now and learning the process, anything I'm learning. I'm teaching my brothers, my siblings, and we also will teach the audience as well. So, uh, just I know it's a lot of information, but definitely take some of the stuff down, and we'll talk about that later on in probably a different episode.
So I'm glad you brought up co-founder, right? And I'm glad you talked about teamwork because that's what all this is, right? I mean, it takes a team, right? I mean, we see basketball as a team, football as a team. There's no I in team, right? And you're right. Most people are like, "Oh, this is my idea. I don't want to share it." But business is run with a team, right? Business is not just one person, doing the whole manufacturing process. It takes 10, 20, if not 100 people to do some of these things that we enjoy every day, or only takes a second for us to enjoy, but it takes hours and hours. We drive our cars every day. How many people were involved in making just that one car? Right now, don't get me wrong. I know AI is doing a lot of it now, right? But still, so here's an example, right? So suppose you walk into a coffee shop, right, or any type of co-working space or classroom, and you just randomly shout out, "Does anybody have a business idea?" Right?
Yep.
I guarantee you, almost everybody hand will go up, right? If asked correctly, right? People spend a lot of time thinking, they spend a lot of time coming up with ideas. It's just that time, right? Now, if you ask a second question, how many of you have actually launched it? I guarantee nearly every hand goes down. And so when you think about why is that? I mean, it's because the gap between dreaming and doing is enormous. Not only is it enormous, it feels enormous, especially when you sit in that driver's seat. It's like starting the first minute of a 24-hour drive, right? I mean, people often encourage themselves and tell themselves they don't have the technical skills to do this. They can't code. They don't have the time or
I
the
think
money.
I I actually did this. I did this at Amazon, uh, in New Jersey, and because I had an idea. We're good to talk about the app that I'm building, or
Well, let me get to the finish because I'm sort of
okay.
getting to this part. And so, people they don't have the technical skills. They feel like they don't have time or money, and for years and years, I mean that was valid, right? I mean we've had iPhones since I want to say 2005, 2006, right? 2007, and I mean we've had apps for a long time now, and it's a small team required to do that, and the team just has gotten smaller and smaller over the years, but thousands of dollars and months of effort. But now with AI, ChatGPT, and sites like Replit, AI can be your co-founder, right? And so it all goes into your prompt. If you're creating a business, you can tell ChatGPT to create a business plan, right? Write a 20-step business plan, include all legal laws and rules, regulations. Make it as if it is, Harvard or Wall Street authenticated and a tone to sound very technical. Like you can really get into the details, and then you can also have it in the voice of, of a co-founder, right, for yourself. And then ChatGPT will print that out, and then you can go to a next step and keep going in these steps, as far as brainstorming ideas, generating code, making prototypes that can be deployed in hours, and then using Zapier, Midjourney, Sora, and these are all the jobs of multiple people. And you can become a one-person startup, but you will get to a point where, like you said, you have to start making human connections. But now with AI, that human connections is almost at the end. So you can have everything done. You can have a website, Facebook. You can have products in the store, products online. You can have T-shirts. You could be marketing. You could be running ads. And then now is the time to go to a space to talk to people about what you've been building. And now it's the time to get a co-founder or start to bring real people into your team to go to that next level. And that's what we're here to talk about. So now you can talk about the app that you're saying, how you're trying to go to the next level.
Okay, so one of the apps I'll give you like my middle app. My middle app that I'm building now is called Idea Paradise. So I went to my job and I like once again what's the problem? How can you fix it? So we went over why people aren't going for their ideas, and yes, there's a lot of the reasons you said, but the biggest reason is because they don't tell nobody about their idea because they feel as though someone's going to steal it.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, 9 times out of 10, they either not going to steal it, but like I said, the human being, the brain thinks someone's going to steal their idea, so they don't even talk about their idea. And it's like 90% of the world have these ideas, and whether it's already built or it's not built or it's in building stages, um, they don't do that. So I decided like let me make a place where it's safe to have this idea conversation, to talk about it, and then be able to build it later on. Because the first thing you want to do is have the idea conversation because you never know who's around in the room that'll help build it, or might know someone that could help build it, or might know someone that could help you, period.
Mm-hmm.
So uh um Idea Paradise, because I named it a couple things first, but Idea Paradise is basically a place where you could actually talk about your share your idea through Gmail with someone that you want to you want them to know about it, but it has safety measures where you have to sign an NDA, like it'll be a basic NDA. um and for companies, obviously they could input their own NDA, which it would cost them a little bit more money than it would cost a regular person, because I know how hard it is for the regular person to get to that point where a business person is easy to write their own NDAs, their own contracts. There will be face recognition when you log in, scan of the ID as well to make sure your face recognition is valid. The NDA will protect your idea from whoever you show it to or speak to about. So that was my idea, and I'm building on it now. I have like a beta version of it, and I told like one person about it. Like basically, if I got that up and running, would you share your idea? Which I spoke to her before, and she said she wouldn't share her idea, and she told me why. Then she was like, once I told her the idea, she was like, yeah, I would share the idea on that. So you have the problem, you have to solve, and you built the app for it.
Exactly. It's, I mean, and that's using prompts, and that's using the term that they also call solopreneur, right? And I mean, and it's a good side hustle. I mean, everybody right now is doing things in a gig economy and this side hustle economy. And I mean, it's what better way than to use your mind, right, to generate revenue? I mean, it's almost an infinite potential, right? Like you can create a million ideas, you can roll those out to generate revenue, and of course, all of them might not make as much, but it will be a great release, just being that creative, thinking that much. And then also you'll get more familiar with the process, because it's not failure, it's just practice, right? Until you get to the main one. I mean, if you look at some of the background of a lot of these, app millionaires or billionaires or whatever they call them now, I mean, they had a lot of failures. The guy from Uber failed at one business, and that same week he started Uber. So it just went seamlessly from one to the next. He had the experience, he knew how to do it. For whatever reason, that other app wasn't working, but he could do that same method, copy and paste over here with Uber. And that's what we're talking about with the prompts, using ChatGPT, using AI, from idea to MVP, which is the minimum valuable product, building the simplest version using the AI tools, getting users, could be friends, family, using Reddit. And I talked to you a lot about Reddit, using Twitch or other niche communities to get 1 to 10, 10 to 20, or 20 to 100 people, right? And then start charging even $5, right? Paid, that's validation, right? That helps you know that, hey, this is really useful and people want to use this. Then once you have that set up, you can repeat, reinvest,
Rinse,
automate, and
repeat, rinse,
scale.
repeat. That's what it's
Repeat,
called.
repeat,
Rinse and repeat.
repeat, rinse and repeat. I mean, there's a couple of examples as well, just kind of like what you said from what you're trying to do. There was a teacher who used ChatGPT to code a simple grading app, right? And he hosted it on Replit, and he used Zapier, which is pretty much works in automation, and he used that to basically take him to the next level, right? To automate the reports, and then within 3 months, he started selling it to other schools and teachers. He had 100 teachers that paid $10 a month. So his side hustle generated $1,000 a month. There was another example where a freelancer created a system where ChatGPT can do draft blogs. Said clients paid $500 for 5 articles. With AI, production scaled to 50 articles a month. Within 6 months, he made $10,000 a month in recurring retainers.
That's good money right there.
That's good money. All right. And so, yeah, I mean, I hope you guys are believers. I hope you guys are interested in becoming promptpreneurs. I hope you guys will start exploring ChatGPT, exploring things in Replit, and exploring other AI sites. This is just a little introduction to get you guys familiar with some terms, let you guys know what our backgrounds are, and to tell you guys to tune in to the second episode of the Promptpreneurs podcast. My name is Evan.
Entrepreneurs.
Promptpreneurs. My name is Evan. I'm one of your hosts. This is James,
And I'm a
and we'll.
regular, I'm a regular promptpreneur. Just so the regular people could come in as well.
All right, and we'll see you on episode 2.